Before the draft started, I had my board and I had my priorities and I had my logic, and you had yours. Now that the Dolphins have completed the 2026 draft, we'll take a look and see if that logic still holds up. It's the Fish Out of Water show. Let's get into it. Okay, the Miami Dolphins 2026 draft class sparked a whole lot of debate. National analysts giving a whole lot of evaluations. Some of the experts are praising the team for snagging high-value defensive starters. Others are questioning the long-term potential and the motivations of our first-round offensive line selection, with good reason. The Miami Dolphins 2026 draft class is supposedly built on a physicality and versatility philosophy under head coach Jeff Hafley. We got multiple rookie picks that are expected to challenge for starting roles immediately, as Bernie Mac would say. The Miami Dolphins 2026 draft class features several boom or bust prospects. They have elite physical traits alongside with more polished scheme-specific defenders. The offensive identity shift, the selection of Kadyn Proctor and Kacmarek confirmed that the Dolphins have a public commitment to a more smash-mouth brand of football for 2026 and are aiming to move away from the soft reputation of previous seasons. The defensive versatility, head coach Jeff Hafley and GM John Eric Sullivan have prioritized multi-positional players. So what they did was they took Chris Johnson. He can play nickelback or he could play regular cornerback. He's most likely going to kick outside and be the main guy out there. Kyle Lewis can flip back and forth between linebacker and safety. Trey Moore can put his hand in the dirt or stand up as a linebacker. Interchangeable parts. They're going to disguise and give multiple fronts, and you got to love that. The receiver overhaul, you got Malik Willis under center. Dolphins used the third-round picks on Caleb Douglas and Chris Bell. They're going to provide a blend of size and speed for a room that recently lost significant veteran talent. Definitely true on that. So by the end of the draft, to me, it was pretty noticeable that a lot of our picks came from one particular place.
The stars at night are big and bright.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
All right, so in round one, we grabbed our high upside pillar, is what I'm going to call them. We're going to go through the real pick-by-pick grades here. So when Miami said that they wanted to get tougher, this class definitely reflects that more than recent years. Okay, so let's start there as a fair assessment. What I'm going to do here is take a look at the player, who they are, the position that they play, their projected role on the roster, who their primary competition is going to be on the depth chart, and then, of course, their draft grade. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
We got pick in the 2026 NFL draft.
Come on, Miami.
The Miami Dolphins select Kadyn Proctor, tackle, Alabama.
Wow.
Oh, there he is. Oh, they got Proctor.
I'm not mad at that.
He's a big tackle.
I'm not mad at Proctor. Left tackle, left guard, Kadyn Proctor, day one starter. He's expected to start. Potentially next to left tackle Patrick Paul to solidify a powerhouse blindside protection. His main competition will be Jonas Avainaya and Patrick Paul himself. If he's good enough to push Patrick Paul out, that's a great problem to have, but that ain't gonna happen. His offensive versatility at Alabama, he was used He was used as the trigger man for the Wildcat. He lined up as an eligible receiver outside, and he's been used as a fullback. He's been a part of the Crispy package, these creative plays where they use a specific sub package. It's an homage to his well-known affinity for Krispy Kreme donuts, but I know he needs to stay his ass away from that hot sign for the next 6 to 7 weeks. Okay, the polarizing first-round pick, the selection of Kadyn Proctor at number 12, has been the most debated pick. While analysts from the Finsider noted that it was a smart move to trade down and still land a powerful tackle, trade down and move back, no, wow, that's a... USA Today highlighted concerns regarding his weight management and overall consistency. With good concern, good reason to be concerned with that. Proctor received a B-. He is considered a high upside / risk. What I saw on film was a big old athletic circus bear. He moves real smooth for a big guy. 400 pounds. Most big people like that move in sections, okay? He should pan out There's no reason why we shouldn't have the Great Wall of Miami. All right, trademark. So yeah, they gave him a B minus. I went on ahead and gave it a tick up. I put him at a grade of a solid B. Okay. For rounds 2 and 3, we switch over to the playmakers. The Miami Dolphins selected San Diego State cornerback Chris Johnson with the 27th overall pick in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft.
The Miami Dolphins select.
Give me a defensive end or a wide receiver.
Johnson, defensive back, San Diego State.
All right, so the kid is in California, grew up in Long Beach, and a 2-year starter at
We
San
scouted
Diego
him,
State,
you know.
where he was the Mountain West Co-Defensive Player of the
If
Year.
that's what they wanted to do, then they, clearly they saw something that they liked. This is the second cornerback taken in the draft after trading up with San Francisco 49ers. All right, Chris Johnson's position is cornerback. He will be a day one starter. That's not just due to the depth chart needs. He's likely going to start immediately with the competition that he's got in the room. There's Ethan Bonner, Ethan Robinson, Jason Marshall Jr., and A.J. Green. All right, so Chris Johnson got an A minus. When I watched the film, what I saw on field kind of feels like Sam Madison. I didn't say he's going to be Sam Madison. I didn't say he looks like Sam Madison. I said he feels like Sam Madison. Okay, the trade up for Chris Johnson was basically a success. If you got clean tape, that means they don't see no mistakes in your game. He's got a high football IQ. That's why they took him. Coach Taaffe, I said we don't need to reach for a safety or a corner, but he liked him so much, he said, I got to go get him. The Miami Dolphins selected linebacker Jacob Rodriguez, 43rd overall pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft. Dwight Stevenson.
In the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker, Texas Tech.
Linebacker Jacob Rodriguez, he's envisioned to be a primary starter, projected as a stacked linebacker who will likely lead the defense alongside Jordan Brooks. His main competition will be Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dotson. Quite frankly, I hope he beats out Tyrell Dotson. Some of y'all know how I feel about Tyrell. He's okay, but I think that we could do better than Tyrell, and I think we just did. The Zach Thomas comparison, okay? Due to his undersized frame, elite instincts, and landing spot with the Dolphins, Rodriguez has drawn frequent comparisons to Zach Thomas. It just makes sense. He's expected to compete for significant defensive snaps early in his career. Zach Thomas is his mentor for real. He puts his stamp of approval on this kid. So if Zach says, this the one, then I'm taking Zach's word for it. And you can't be mad at a dude with a Nacho Libre porn stash. Rodriguez was graded as a B+. What I saw on film, I don't really care about what they say about dude not being able to cover or move in space. That's inaccurate. He moves very well in space. And the proof is in the turnover production. He's not a thumper. He ain't bringing that wood when he's hitting, but he's going to make the tackle. And he just might get that ball up out of there with the way he punches it out. So I ticked it up. I took 2 ticks. I took it from a B+ to an A. That's a solid A, and I'm going to stick with it. Moving right along here, the Dolphins selected Texas Tech wide receiver Caleb Douglas. Let's see what we get.
In the 2026 NFL Draft.
Right. True. Dwight Stevenson.
Douglas, wide receiver, Texas Tech.
Okay. This is when they take wide receivers. Caleb Douglas is a contested catch specialist. He is expected to compete for a starting role immediately. Despite having a 6'4" frame, he clocked the 4.39 second 40 at the NFL Combine. That puts him in the 95th percentile for the position. Okay, so the role that he's supposed to play is a specialized Z receiver. He's not going to be no Z receiver. He's an X all day. Teammates like Chris Bell provide bulk, yak ability. Douglas is expected to serve as a primary field stretcher. That's an X. Red zone target. His role mirror of that of a height, weight, speed, deep threat like Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I don't see where y'all see that at, but the pick of Caleb Douglas was slammed as a reach by CBS Sports, as he was ranked significantly lower in most consensus boards. I did like 100 mocks. Now he was going from 6 to undrafted, but after I got a chance to sit here and watch the tape, what I saw on film, that's baby Randy Moss, as far as I'm concerned. It's not that he's going to be Randy Moss, but the dynamics of his game scream baby Randy Moss. I don't understand how he hasn't drawn that comparison. So, yeah, I'm happy with it. His grade was a C+. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and tick that up to a B-. The Miami Dolphins selected Ohio State tight end Will Kacmarek with the 87th overall pick in the third round of the 2026 NFL Draft. We're going to use him. Hey, now. Tight end! Hey! Tight end Will Kacmarek. It's going to be a lead blocking tight end. He's brought in specifically to improve short yardage blocking for Devon Achane. Devon ain't breaking no tackles. He needs a hole to run through. He's going to add to what we're doing with Paul and Proctor.
We're running doggies into the end zone, and the trail runs right over your ass.
His main competition will be Greg Dulcich and Ben Sims. Kacmarek is an old school inline wide tight end, widely praised by scouts and coaches as the best blocking tight end in this class. Dolphins general manager John Eric Sullivan described him as grimy, dirty, bite your face off type of dude who will serve as an extension for the offensive line. Bite your face off is saying something, okay? That's a pretty intense dude. 6'6", 261 pounds. Kacmarek fits the Dolphins' apparent 26 draft theme of increasing the team's overall power and physicality. He plays with the lineman's demeanor, uses powerful torque and active feet to displace the defenders in the run game. Kacmarek was part of a historic draft class for Ohio State where they had two tight ends selected in the same draft. In Miami, he's expected to earn a significant role in the multiple tight end set. He's going to provide the physical edge needed to improve the short yardage and goal line attack. Kacmarek's grade was a B. What I saw on film, he is absolutely the kind of physical tight end that I have personally wanted on the squad. Okay? I was looking for him in the mock draft. Kacmarek's still out there. Kacmarek's gone? We needed a tight end that's physical like that for so long. And if he's considered the best tight end in the draft, so moving right along. The Miami Dolphins selected Louisville wide receiver Chris Bell with the 94th pick overall in the third round of the 2026 NFL Draft. Hey, Scott.
The Miami Dolphins select Chris Bell, wide receiver, Louisville.
Okay. They doubled down. They doubled down on wide receiver. Not surprised. Chris Bell will be playing wide receiver. He's going to be key in rotation, possibly a potential wide receiver 3, despite a late season ACL injury at Louisville. He is viewed as a high upside vertical threat once he is healthy. His main competition will be Jalen Tolbert and Tutu Atwell. You wouldn't say Caleb because he's going to be on the other side of him. Bell was widely considered a first-round talent before late season ACL injury tear in November. That impacted his draft stock. Scouts compare Bell's playstyle to physical receivers like A.J. Brown or Anquan Bolden, and his physical contrast to the Dolphins. He's a physical contrast to the Dolphins' smaller receivers like Malik Washington. He does look like a smaller A.J. Brown, bigger Anquan Bolden. He's the middle of them in the growth projection chart. His weaknesses: he's an unrefined route runner with stiff hips, but them same stiff hips had 9 catches for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns on the Hurricanes. And let me tell you, that's something that's a judgment measurement that we use as Canes fans. If a player shows out against Miami like Bell did, that's big respect. He automatically land on the radar scout. All right, so on the scout radar. So Chris Bell, they gave him a B+. What I saw on film, all I had to do was go back and watch that game versus UM where he ate real good. It's only because he's injured do I stick with the B+ grade. If he's healthy, that might just be an A+. But I also think that we wouldn't have gotten him in the third round. So pick your poison. Moving right along here, we're moving on to the specialists. This is where we pick the people in round 4. Our specialists are going to begin with Trey Moore. The Dolphins selected tight end, Texas edge outside linebacker Trey Moore with the 130th overall pick in the 4th round of the 2026 NFL Draft.
Miami Dolphins select Trey Moore, linebacker, Texas. Go Dolphins!
I mean,
So another one paying attention to how he's announced, right? He's
they got a plan. I mean, okay. I do like Trey Moore. The edge, Trey Moore, is supposed to be a sub-package specialist. He will likely serve as a pressure player on third downs. Third down pass rush specialist, that's fine. His main competition will be Josh Uche and Chop Robinson. Moore was the first day 3 pick. He was the first of 7 day 3 picks for Miami and is viewed as a high upside tweener who can contribute both as a pass rusher and an off-ball linebacker. He raised his stock significantly at the combine when he posted a 7th best athleticism score among edge defenders. Okay, refined in the pass rush, he wins with a diverse plan that includes timing, hand usage, and lightning quick first steps. So he got a bag out there. 6'2", 243 pounds with shorter arms. He can struggle to set the edge against larger NFL blockers and sometimes loses his anchor in the run game. Okay, so his role with the Dolphins, Moore joins the Dolphins defensive front that recently saw the departures of Bradley Cooper and Jalen Phillips. While he may start his career on special teams, where he played 280 snaps in college, his versatility allows new defensive coordinator Sean Dugan, to use him as a situational blitzer or rotational edge defender. Trey Moore, they gave him a grade of B. What I saw on film, he's versatile, but he's still undersized. But he definitely gonna make some plays. I scouted him. I do like Trey Moore. You know, I almost picked him on my final mock draft. So he definitely passes the eyeball test, and apparently the front office thought so too because they picked him. You know, I scouted him. I was gonna pick him, but they actually picked him. So for Trey Moore, it stays a B. All right, so we move along, and the Miami Dolphins selected Pittsburgh linebacker safety hybrid Kyle Lewis with the 138th pick in the 4th round in the 2026 NFL Draft.
With the 138th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Kyle Lewis, linebacker, Pittsburgh.
Okay. The linebacker slash safety is a defensive chess piece, no doubt about that. Projected as a versatile nickel defender who can play both linebacker and safety. His main competition is going to be Michael Taaffe, but that's a negative. If he ain't a starter, he's going to be heavy in the rotation. He'll play more snaps than Taaffe, and I'll take that bet against anybody. Lewis is frequently described by analysts as the steal of the draft due to his high-level production and his elite athletic profile. While he played linebacker at Pitt, he's 5'11", 225-pound frame. He has natural cover skills, and he's led many scouts to project him as a big nickel back or hybrid safety at the professional level. They intend to use him as a linebacker initially, at least that's what it looks like. He has a lot of third down value, and he aligns as the big nickel back. So he can play in the box. The late round value, analysts at Yahoo Sports identified Kyle Lewis as a potential steal in the 4th round, noting that he was projected by some to go as early as the 2nd. And he was going off the boards earlier. So I was happy to get him. I had to call my brother-in-law and let him know, we stole your boy. So Kyle Lewis gets a B+. So what I saw on film, open space dog just like Jacob Rodriguez. Between the two of them, the defense should be generating a whole lot of turnovers and forced fumbles out there. I might even pick them boys up again for fantasy football. Happy to have Kyle Lewis, man. That was a good pickup for us. That was I would agree with that was an absolute steal. Moving along to Michael Taaffe, the Dolphins selected Texas safety Michael Taaffe with the 158th overall pick in the 5th round of the 2026 draft.
Last that long in the draft.
To me, it was Kansas City saying, you know what, we need corner help. We're going to trade up. They went 9.
I didn't think
and went up and got
that pick. I don't like.
The best corner.
That pick I don't like. Not that he's not good.
In this draft.
You needed other positions. Now here, Keontae Scott was already gone in the 4th round, so this was where the pick started getting a little iffy for me. And he was going in drafts, but he just, I wouldn't. So again, he's a safety, reserve free safety, core special teamer, and I promise you that's all he's ever gonna be. He's a former walk-on who became a standout starter for the Longhorns, and I really should have more respect for him as a walk-on because I was a walk-on. But he won the Burlsworth Trophy. He was the nation's best player who started as a walk-on, and he's often cited as a coach on the field due to his high football IQ and communication skills. Michael Taaffe, they gave him a B-, and I totally disagreed with that. I watched the film very closely. This dude here is a drag-down tackler with no pop to his hits. No pop. And his only interceptions were where there were bad overthrows from the quarterback or underthrows. So I'm not impressed. And since we're talking about best player available, relative to whatever it is that they think they're getting ready to run, they may have taken what they thought was the best player available, but he clearly wasn't the best overall player available. So you have to say that he's a scheme-specific pick, but I still think that you could have got him later. The Miami Dolphins selected Missouri wide receiver Kevin Coleman Jr. with the 177th overall pick in the 5th round of the 2026 NFL Draft. Should have took Ruben Bain. Oh, the pick is in. Hey, look at that, right on time. Wide receiver Kevin Bro. Why not take C.J. Daniels? All right, so for me, again, this is where I was getting a little frustrated with the picks. You took this guy here, but C.J. Daniels was on the board. C.J. Daniels was there, went 6th round, 16th pick. So Kevin Coleman's a wide receiver, depth slot wide receiver / punt returner. I don't see how he's going to beat Malik Washington out to be the punt returner or the kick returner. He's viewed as a depth. I get it. He's viewed as a high floor slot specialist and a return threat who provides reliable depth for a revamped Dolphins receiving corps. His player profile and evaluation. Scouts define Coleman as a nomad prospect. He started at 4 different schools in 4 years. He demonstrates the ability to quickly learn new playbooks and assimilate into different systems. That's a plus and a minus, just like anything else. He's widely praised for his concentration and ball security, recording only 7 drops across 271 career targets. That's pretty good. He adds immediate value as a punt returner, having averaged 12.6 yards per return and scoring a touchdown in his final collegiate season. But a Devin Hester, he is not. While he lacks elite size at 5'10 and 197 pounds, he wins with short area quickness, electric agility after the catch, and a willingness to block that exceeds his frame. But this is here, we're talking about players meeting measurables, but as we move down the line, you started taking players that did not meet the measurables. So just wanted to say it was something that I noticed. His size and lack of a top-tier vertical recovery gear. He's got a 4.49 in the 40, and it's going to limit him to only being in the slot in the NFL. His fit with the Dolphins, Coleman is the 3rd wide receiver taken by Miami in this class. He joins Caleb Douglas and Chris Bell. He's a shifty underneath alternative to the size-oriented targets that we just talked about. His strengths are he's a highly explosive slot receiver with an elite first step. His weaknesses is that he's small. He has a slight frame, and it's going to confine him to strictly being in the slot in the NFL. So Kevin Coleman Jr.'s grade was a B from the analysts, and what I saw on film, he's more quick than fast. He is a good open field runner, and he absolutely killed UGA for 8 rips and 100 yards. Anytime you put up numbers against any of the big schools, man, you do Chris Bell against Miami, Kevin Coleman against UGA, stuff like that. The scouts will notice you. So while I might not have been completely thrilled with the pick, it still filled the need that we needed. We needed more bodies in that room. And just like in my mock, I came away with 3 wide receivers. They came away with 3 wide receivers. While I did not necessarily like the pick, I did not disagree with the strategy. I hope I say his name right, man. The Miami Dolphins selected Mississippi State tight end Seydou Traore with the 180th overall pick in the 5th round of the 2026 NFL Draft. Round 5, pick 40. And that's Cooper. Originally a soccer goalkeeper from London, he transitioned to American football late and has been described by a site called Clutch Points as an intriguing developmental project with high upside. Developmental tight end 3. His main competition will be Will Kacmarek and Ben Sims. Traore made history as the first graduate of the academy. That's all well and good, but his player profile and evaluation says that he translates as a modern F flex tight end. Essentially, he's a big slot receiver. Due to his athleticism and lack of natural inline blocking strength, he recorded a 9.2 relative athletic score, 4.5 in the 40. Natural ball skills, because he only started playing football in 2020. So you're talking about 6 years ago. He just started playing. So he is considered unfocused. And he needs significant development in his blocking technique. Standing 6'4", 244, he has a rocked up and muscular frame, but lacks the base strength for consistent inline blocking. His grade was a B. I totally disagree with that. What I saw on film, this dude is a very good natural athlete. That's why the constitution of his individual athleticism is allowing him to assimilate to the game of American football much easier, or at least what appears to be much easier than past international players that have made attempts to come into the NFL. We've seen those guys come in, they show them on TV, they do the whole special little bit, and the next week they ain't on the roster. That's why I felt like you didn't have to draft this guy. You could have took a chance on so many other players, not even UM players. You could have picked any other player, but you took an experimental pick. They are the professionals, but all I know is those three picks right there, I'm going to hold their feet to the fire, and I'm going to hold them accountable for those. Let's move on to the next one here. I like this guy. The Miami Dolphins selected Texas offensive guard DJ Campbell with the 200th overall pick in the 6th round of the 2026 NFL Draft. You let Anez Cooper go off the board, and then you let Anez Cooper go to the Jets, bro. Like, bro. I've given up. I've given up on my board. I don't even care to look at my board. You know, I'm not mad with the draft. I mean, they're getting, I believe in giving a man enough rope to hang himself with. This was round 6, pick 19. He is considered to be a backup right guard. We'll see about that. Campbell is viewed as a potential steal due to his high pedigree background and extensive starting experience. He is the 3rd Texas Longhorn taken by this class, joining Trey Moore and Michael Taaffe. They like them Texas dudes. Now, Texas play some ball. So, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. DJ Campbell got a B+. What I saw on film, like I said, I really do like this dude, man. He is a natural guard. He is a guard straight down to the white meat, okay? You compare him to Savai Naya, I honestly think that this dude could take the job from him. Everybody is saying and they assuming that Jonah going to be all right once they move him back over to the right side. I'm not so sure about that. I don't disbelieve that this dude can take that job. I'm really happy with that pick. So, I would stay with the B+. I want to sneak it in as an A, but we'll leave it as a B+ just for a fair assessment. All right. Let's get down here to Mr. Max Llewellyn. The Miami Dolphins selected Iowa defensive end Max Llewellyn with 230th overall pick in the 7th round of the 2026 draft. Max Llewellyn is a situational pass rusher. Llewellyn received his consensus draft grade from Dolphins Talk and YouTube reviewers. They noted that he could be a steal due to his high-level production in the Big Ten. Other outlets gave him a 5th-round developmental grade, suggesting that Miami found good value in the 7th. Okay. Llewellyn is a high-effort base end known for his relentless motor and signature inside spin move that consistently fooled collegiate tackles. Pass rush heavy productivity. He finished 2025 with an elite 87.2 PFF pass rush grade. Speaks volume. He's speaking my language, talking PFF scores. His role with the Dolphins as Miami's final pick of the 2026 draft, Llewellyn joins a depth chart in need of situational pass rushers. He will likely compete for a roster spot as a designated pass rusher on 3rd downs and, of course, special teams. Max Llewellyn's grade was a B+. When I watched him and what I saw on film, he looks like a poor man's Andrew Van Ginkel. He may actually be a little bit more fluid than Gink in his movements. If he once he gets his hands on the offensive tackle, he's gonna win that rep. He's undersized, so he's not an edge setter. He's a little light in the tail there, light in the can, but I like his aggressiveness. I really do like Max Llewellyn. I'm gonna keep that as a B+ grade. So I really have to say the personnel that we have says that we're not running a 4-3 front. We are probably running a 3-4. I mean, we don't have the personnel for a 4-3 system. Let's get back to. All right, so your prototypical 4-3 defensive end, man. Them dudes is like 6'4", 6'5", 255. Your prototypical 3-4 defensive end is 6'6", almost 300 pounds. We've got Zeeler, Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips. We are set up to run a 3-4. I don't know what we're going to run. He says we're going to run a 4-3, but the personnel says that we're running a 3-4. So getting to the inside out versus the BPA contradiction, All season, all off season, we heard that we were going to build this thing from the inside out. And as we got closer to the draft, and then after the draft, it was all about best player available. Okay, your board tells the truth. And again, we took the best players available, but we took the best players available for the things that we want to do. If that makes sense. Tight ends, wide receivers in round 3. Again, that supports the best player available approach in getting value for your picks. The trade downs, getting the additional picks, that's adding multiple bodies, that is, increasing volume to the roster. We basically added 1/5 of a new roster. That's exactly what we did. So as far as best player available or drafting for need, I don't really think that it's about that. Sullivan and Taaffe told you as much that they wanted the best player available as they fell to him on the board. The only thing that you can really bring into question is that they actually pick and then get the best player available. So, and only time can tell you that. So the final grade for the draft, to give my final honest score, my suggestion is a B+. It's not an A. It's not an A-. It's definitely not an A+, but it's a B+. And it ain't just because, they didn't pick Miami players. I felt like they could have done some other things with the picks from Taaffe on back. Taaffe and the tight end and Coleman, the wide receiver. There were better players. But again, we have to find out exactly what it is that they're trying to do with what they're scheming, and maybe those players are the exact fit to what they're trying to do. The draft structure was strong. We got big uncertainty at the with the number 1 overall pick. I'm just hoping my man stay away from that hot sign. That's all. And I'm gonna close out with this. This is where Miami missed, because as well as they did do in the draft, it's time for a little criticism. Okay. The main issue that I have, the questions that I have, is that you preached getting culture setters. You preach getting tone setters, and then you passed on players like Caleb Downs and Vega Ioane, and then of course Ruben Bain Jr. So it's you didn't just pass on a football player, you passed on culture players for a first pick that you have to question whether or not he's going to show up to camp in shape. So let me explain something to my fellow fish out of water, my Dolphin fans outside of South Florida that are not from South Florida, that have never lived in South Florida, that are also not Hurricane fans. Ruben Bain Jr. wasn't just a prospect, okay? He was the cream that rose to the top of the South Florida football ecosystem. He is South Florida football culture. You're talking about playing your little league there, your middle school ball, high school ball, and then playing for the college. Kids like him grow up dreaming of wearing the aqua and orange. Did you see how upset he was when we didn't pick him? I don't care how upset he is. Let me tell you something, man. Miami had a chance to draft one of its own, and they passed on it again. This ain't the first time. They got a history of not taking UN players.
And if anybody don't understand that, then God be with them. Go look up the history. Go look up the history. Shit, don't everybody believe in Google?
And then when they do take UN players, they don't necessarily pick the best available Hurricane. Nobody told them to take Vernon Carey over Vince Wilfork. Who told them to do that? We're not saying that it's a requirement that a pro team needs to always draft a player from the hometown college. But ever since them dirty, stinking ass Steelers did not draft Dan Marino back in the 80s, the Steeler fans been letting the Rudy family hear about it ever since then, all the way up to this day.
To this day! To this day!
So, if you don't understand that, then say that. Say you don't understand. Dolphins fans that are not Hurricanes fans, all I should be hearing from you is, I don't get it.
Token, I get it now. I don't get it. I've been trying to say that I understand how you feel, but I'll never understand. I don't get it. Now you get it, Stan.
Now, that doesn't mean that Proctor can't become a great player, but you didn't do him any justice. You didn't do him any favors, because as soon as he miss a block or give up a sack, man, they going to boo so loud, Ruben can hear it over in Tampa Bay. Boo. Oh, well, he messed up already. Should have drafted me. Let me go get this sack. And, the fact that you held to your convictions and you stuck to your process. John Eric Sullivan been waiting for that opportunity for 22 years to be the GM. He wasn't finna let the pressure of the fans force him to make a pick that he didn't want to pick. And for that, sir, you are to be commended for that. I'm going to just say it outright. You got some big old hairy cojones, homie.
Big balls. No brains.
Ruben Bain Jr. jerseys, the pre-orders would be filling up for next year, till next year. You want to stop having the Bills and Jets fan. Matter of fact, hold on. Put this on in support of them University of Miami boys, man. You want to stop having the Bills and the Jets fans outnumbering us at home games when we not winning. You give the people something to cheer for. This is about understanding your market and your people. That's all I say about that, man. But for you Dolphin fans who are not Hurricane fans, you don't have a dog in the fight. So all of that Twitter and you telling Dolphin fans they not real Dolphin fans because they just want us, we just want the team to pick Hurricane fans. You need to cut that out, because that's not at all what that is. You Dolphin fans that are Texas fans, y'all look giddy right now because we have 3 of your own. If you was an Ohio State fan, you happy because we got 1 of your own. It's more than that. That man heart was broke when y'all didn't pick him. I'll leave it alone, man. But just, stop telling people that they're not real Dolphin fans, man, because you just started cheering for the Dolphins yesterday. The fact that some of you aren't even aware that that is a thing shows how long that you've been a fan. Y'all just settle down with that, man. Really. Anyway, final verdict, closing out. Let me get out of here, man. This draft can work. But whether it becomes a special draft, like one of those memorable drafts where this class is the class that turned it around, that depends on whether or not Miami drafted football players or if they just drafted traits and measurables. Because if you keep on drafting traits and measurables instead of over football tape, you're going to end up with a roster full of traits and measurables instead of football players who jump off the tape. It don't matter if I'm saying it. History says it. That's why it matters. Hey, and now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
Hey, man. Fish Out of Water Show. Make sure you click like and subscribe, man. Peace amongst the Dolphin fans, man. Ain't no need for a rift in the fandom, man. Let's come back for the next one, man. I'll see y'all there.